Hi, everybody. Welcome to Live with Georgia. I just realized I've left my door open, so I'm just going to get up and close it. All good, all good. Hello. Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are here for a wonderful show, Live with Georgia, tarot readings for $10 for one question. 30% of all proceeds tonight will go to charity. It's the Wild Bird Fund right here in Manhattan, and they're on Columbus Avenue, and my children and I have taken fallen birds out of nests, quite a few of them, and they're really wonderful people. So I'm really happy to be sending some money their way. And tonight, if you want to ask a question, the link should be in the description, but I'm going to add them here again. Essentially, my PayPal is georgiamarantos@gmail.com. And let me know if you're here by making a comment. We can always just say hi. And if nobody's got it, nobody wants a reading, we can always just sort of throw things out there. I've been adjusting my my camera, so forgive me while I do that. Here we go. Yeah, we can always just ask any kind of questions. If you're here and you're learning how to read the tarot, we could just ask me a question on, what spreads I use, or any questions that you may have that have come up in your own studies. And I'd be interested to learn new ways of doing things. Of course, everyone who's honed their craft has found kind of easy pathways to doing certain things. Hi, Charlie. How are you? Nice to see you. Linda, hello. Welcome. Yeah, so, we could do that. Tonight, the moon card is here to delight us. And what I love about the moon card is that it really relates to the star card, because when you look up in the sky, sometimes you see the moon and the stars, right? Or often there's a little star next to the moon. And I'm going to pull both cards out just to show you what we've got coming up. Jennifer, hello. Oh, welcome, everybody. Irina, hi. I'm actually in the middle of a remote viewing course. I've been doing it via Zoom, and the course is still going. And I wondered whether I should, come tonight, cancel the live or not. But I just really miss seeing everybody. I took a huge break over Christmas and New Year, and I just wanted to be here and hang out with you all. And remote viewing is really interesting. So remote viewing is being in one place and sending your consciousness, or opening your consciousness to places that are far away, and someone else chooses a target for you, and then you start describing it. And it's just so interesting. And this particular course is called Extended Remote Viewing. If you're interested in remote viewing, there's like a gamut of things on the internet. The two people that I've looked into are Ed Dames and his course that's been around for a long time, and David Morehouse. So, there's so much interesting information about how you can use remote viewing in your life. It's essentially what you're doing with remote viewing is you are using your inner senses that we use here when we read the tarot, or, for example, in mediumship, when you speak with people's loved ones, you are using the same inner senses. You're using your clairsenses. And anything that you do, any kind of meditation, any kind of practice where you are going in and sensing, is helping your capacity to receive information from this big sort of holographic universe that we live in. And it's very exciting. It's a good muscle to flex and can help you, right? So it's that gut feeling of knowing when something's going to happen, or a gut feeling of just knowing, or seeing. Some people see things before certain events happen. And I'm not talking about foresight in the very far future. I'm talking about, like, in the moment, how it's relevant to you here and now. And that's what I hope we're going to do when people ask some questions. Jennifer says, I'm glad you didn't cancel. I'm glad to. I'm so happy to see you. It's been such a long time. If anybody has a question, please throw them at me. georgiamarantos@gmail is my gmail.com is for PayPal. And you can hear the children in the background. We've got everybody's in the house tonight, so it's going to be loud. So let me know if you can all, it'll be fine. It's probably more that I get distracted by it than you all. All right, so here we go. The next thing that I wanted to say was, if you go to my website, yeah, my website, and you go to the shop and you click on $10 live reading. So tonight we also have a very special free reading that was gifted by Shelley Marlowe last week. And someone tonight by raffle, so we'll choose a number between, say, 1 and 10, will win a free one question reading. Should we do that now? Because why not? We've got Charlie, Linda, Jennifer, Irina, and anyone else who's watching. I want you to put down a number between 1 and 10. I'm thinking of a number, and we have a 1 free reading which we're giving to someone. So, and I've put my number down. All right. Hi, Mary. How are you? Welcome. So this is a free 1 question reading gifted to us by Shelley, who was on last week. Thank you very much, Shelley. If you ever want to pay it forward like that, it always comes back to you, and give somebody a free reading on the show. I'd always appreciate it, and I know the person who'll be receiving it will appreciate it. I'm really good, really good. Thank you. Okay, the cards are charged up, and they're all upright, and I will find them. So let's see. Now, nobody's gotten my number yet. You want to have another guess? Whoever's put a number down, put another number down. You're allowed to have 2 guesses. It's going to get the first one to put the number down that I've chosen gets the reading. And this money that was gifted, 100% of that will go to the charity. Will go to the Wild Bird Fund. That's good news, right? All right, Charlie girl, you are the winner. It's number 6. Fire away. I still haven't found the star card. Let's see. Let's find it. And while Charlie types in her question, we are going to have a look at the 2 cards. So last week we studied the star card, which is a beautiful card. It's all about finding the balance after you've been through so much, which is a bit like 2021, right? We're sort of trying to integrate what's happened last year and trying to integrate what's still happening with some kind of normal routine, even though things are still very, very different. And what's, the sort of consequences and unfoldings of the pandemic are still happening and potentially still snowballing. We don't know. But what we do know is that we are doing our best to kind of ride the wave of emotion. And we're all doing it together all around the world, right? Here is the Emperor, just as I was talking about the pandemic. And I think this is kind of important, and I want to talk about it because I think what we're trying to do, we've had chaos. We had shock and a bit of chaos last year. And what we're doing this year is we're finding structure, a little bit more structure. So where we saw countries kind of shutting down in reaction. Okay, this is how we're going to do it, and we've got a plan, but it's like a plan that's come up out of panic. We've now had a little bit of experience, and we know that we've got a little one here. Just getting my phone. No, babe, I need my phone.
For what?
Sorry, sweetheart, because I need to make sure that I get the messages. Oh, I know.
I'll give you it back when it says a message on.
Can you ask Daddy for help? I know. And so we're creating this structure. It's like we've the foundations were rocked, and we're creating this new foundation. And that's what the Emperor does. You might remember the video we did with the Emperor. He's all about creating structure and foundation. And that's what we're doing now. Okay, moving forward, the schools are going to look like this. Moving forward, we're going to be putting in, vaccine or testing or this kind of thing. So this year and this kind of time in the pandemic is all about that. Charlie girl, have you got your question in? I'm kind of waffling until you get here. But it's interesting, isn't it, that the Emperor popped out as I was talking about what's happened over this past year. Well, the star card should really appear and make itself known. Here we go. Come on, star card. Let's have a look at you. Pull out the star and the moon. Might be somewhere else. Forgive me, I'm still looking for it. I'm going down. Oh, here it is, the moon card. Got it. Do you remember the star card also had a pool of water? And if you look at the pool of water on the star card and the grass that's next to the star card, this is exactly the same. So essentially these two cards sit next to one another. And so as you are balancing your emotions, you start to go into the deeper emotions, the negative emotions, the ones like fear, the ones like anger, the ones like, frustration, the guilt, shame, the ones that are sort of tucked in under there that can sometimes motivate us to do really quite crazy, horrific things. And so, Charlie's got your question there. Awesome. Marisa, hello, Marisa. Studied tarot with me, which is awesome. Do I take Venmo? I do. Let me see if I've got my Venmo handle for you. It's exciting. I do have Venmo, and now I've just got to figure out what to tell people. What do I tell people with Venmo? Here we go. Excuse me. A little bit of disorganization today. Venmo is, let me sign in now. Well, could you try my email, georgiamarantos@gmail, see if that works? Marisa, did you find me, Marisa, on Venmo? I should be there. My name, Georgia Marantos. If you don't find me, let me know. And if not, you and I can chat later. Yeah, you'll give it a go. Good girl. Oh, Theo, I need it, sweetheart. I know you want to take it. Okay, so Charlie Girl says, here's my question. I'm worried about a particular situation. I've given it to the universe, but would like to know when it will be resolved. Okay, this is a very specific question, right? This is a timing question. And so what we're looking at now, I've learned something very interesting because in remote viewing, the teacher, David Morehouse, has gone into a lot of detail about quantum physics and how quantum physics attempts to explain how in remote viewing, for example, you can be in one position in space and time and be sensing information, accurate information about something happening, not only in the same time unit, but also something that's about to happen, right? So, this type of idea that, everything that's happening is happening in this moment. And so
I gave you a message.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
Very quickly.
Thank you. I might need to, I need to ask my children to go into the other room. Theo, can you go into the other room, sweetheart? Mummy needs to do something. I'm on the show and I'm talking to people. Here, you come and take it and don't worry about my message. Yeah, and can you close the door for me? Thank you, baby. You paid, Marisa? Wonderful. Diana, hello. Wonderful. So you can find me on Venmo too. Isn't that great? And so, Charlie, a long-winded way to talk about time in that what we're going to tap into now is one of the infinite possibilities that you are manifesting. So I'm reading you, right? I'm reading the energy and vibration that you're emitting, and I'm going to have to kind of sit and center for a little bit because I've had conversations all around. So I'll do that before I tap into your question. But I'm reading the infinite possibility of all the infinite possibilities. I'm going to pull on one because I'm going to reach out with this tarot card, whichever random tarot card comes out. I'm going to tap into you and then use my inner senses to pull on some information, which hopefully the tarot card will help me elicit, right? That's what tarot card is, a tool. It helps you elicit information which you've already gleaned and already received with your own inner senses, right? And we're going to manifest a time. Now, if you don't like that time, if that time doesn't sit right with you, then you, as the creator of your world and your universe, can say, well, I want to manifest something sooner. What do I know about manifestation? What's preventing me from manifesting this that I want right now, right? And so then you look at what lives in my system right now as resistance. Like, what am I actually thinking, acting, contemplating? What am I kind of like mulching that would not let me see that possibility of it coming sooner. So that's what I'm really, really focusing on. And having said that, I want to say that, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. I know you've all heard me say this before. Entertainment purposes only. You're just here to have fun. We're all here to have fun and be with each other. And, our togetherness is hopefully uplifting. And then in that upliftment, we get to give some money through the proceeds, the 30% of the proceeds, and they go to charity. So it's all about, paying the goodness forward and it all coming full circle for everybody. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a counselor really, although in some ways, because I get these readings myself, in some ways, when you get a reading and someone's sort of moving something backwards and forwards with you, there's some counsel, there's some kind of sharing of emotion, and, there's in the upliftment, there's some emotion gets lifted, and that feels good, which is why we keep coming for them. It's like we're helping each other. And, I really don't, I wish through remote viewing, you could, if you wanted to, predict things like lottery numbers. And I know that if you look it up on YouTube, there are remote viewers who have helped companies kind of win money in shares and the Wall Street. So what's interesting about that is that we have the capacity to do that. That's what fascinates me. And I think with everybody who's, hopefully watching, that you should know that you can do that too, right? Linda, you paid for a reading for your mum. Thank you so much. This is awesome. All right, we're jumping straight in. Charlie's question is really specific. She's worried about a situation, but has given it to the universe. So that's great, right? In that statement, you've made a statement of, I'm worried about it, but I've given it to the universe. So is your worry in the past or is it still in the present? In giving it to the universe, have you been able to get rid of the worry? That's a good question to contemplate, right? Because if there's still a little bit of worry present, that creates resistance in the system, right? I'm worried about its outcome. And in the worry, I'm creating the worried outcome, right? Which you already know. So I'm not telling you anything you don't know. And what we want to do is we just want to redirect and reframe ourselves into thinking of the positive outcome. So the positive outcome is it gets resolved. And here your question is, when will it be resolved? So the way I answer timing questions, which you've all heard me say this before, is I pick a card, and in the tarot deck, you have the major arcana, which are the ones that are kind of very long, take a long time. You have the swords, the wands, the cups, and the pentacles. And the wands are the quickest. So if I pick one card and it's a wand, then I'll say it's pretty soon that it's going to happen. And then we can pick more cards to be specific. If it's cups, it's a little bit longer. If it's swords, it's like, so wands is, I think, in days. Swords is days to weeks, cups is weeks to months, and the pentacles is months to years. So we're going to do that now. I'm going to center, Charlie. Centering is everything. And I recently read a fantastic article by a doctor called Laura Conover, Coniver. She's like an earthing guru. And earthing or grounding, putting your bare feet on the ground, has completely changed her life and her children's life. And she has an amazing story. If you watch the movie earthing.com, you'll hear her story. And the reason I bring her up is because she wrote this article. She's a doctor, an MD, and she wrote this article about taking 3 deep breaths. Now, a lot of people who've sat in workshops that I've also sat in with Derek O'Neill know that before we start a guided meditation, we take 3 deep breaths of life-enhancing energy, force, right? Life force, energy. And I never realized that those 3 deep breaths put us into a very deep, calm state physiologically. I thought it was psychological, but actually it's physiological. Your body, in taking those 3 deep breaths, stimulates the vagus nerve, which is your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system, the part of your nervous system that is responsible for calming you down, reduces your heart rate, reduces your breathing rate, reduces your sweating. It basically puts you into a very rested state. So it only takes 3 deep breaths. And I realized that that's what I had been doing on the show, and I'd been doing just naturally before I start any reading. And I recommend you do it too, because in that parasympathetic state, we're tuning in to our inner senses. So here we go. 3 deep breaths. Anybody can go along with me. Here we go. 3 deep breaths. Two cards want to come out. I get the Empress and the Pentacles. Okay. So this tells me it's going to be more like months. Now, this situation must be a little bit complicated for you to be worried about it, right, Charlie? So let's have a look. Do you want me to have a look at what's making it complicated? Because sometimes when you tease something out a little, does it involve a child? I'm just putting the Page of Cups up there. So, and the pages often indicate children or a young energy or a new beginning, or maybe there's someone who's showing you one face and really, and really being another behind the scenes. So that's what the Page of Cups can mean. But when I saw it, I thought, oh, could this be a child? So you let me know which of those it could be. Now, if we were saying, okay, it's months, did you want to hear months? I don't know. Maybe months sounds like that's kind of falling into the place where you would think that the resolution would come. So no kids involved. So then I would say this situation involves someone or something where you're being shown one face, and then there's kind of like an unspoken truth or truth behind the scenes. So someone's acting in one way, or the situation appears to be one way and it appears to look one way, and then but really there's something else going on. I'm going to have a look at how long, right? We're looking now how long, and we'll do it in months. Will it happen? Yes, of course you would hope sooner, right? Me too. I hope it sooner for you too. So let's see if we can manifest in this moment. If we could pull down, right, what would you need to do? So my question is, first I'm going to look at how soon is in the months, right? We'll look at 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, 4 months, 4 months. So I see 3 months, and then the 4th month, you're free. Why do I say that? I see the Fool. Now, maybe 4 months is too long. And we want to say to ourselves, what can help you move, right? Move the potential that you're pulling down, which is, we've just done it, right? You've asked me the question, and I promise you, I grounded and centered as much as I could to pick these cards to feel this 4 months, right? What could you do to change that 4 months? Because you're in control of your universe and your world. Your thoughts create your world. You're like, I want it sooner. And the universe is always saying yes to us, right? The universe's job is to say yes. Once you desire something, it manifests it. And then in the next thought, if we're saying, well, I don't know if it's going to happen, then the universe manifests that too, right? If we believe in the law of attraction. So what could you do to change that potential that we're seeing at the moment? What could you do? Let's have a look. So now we're asking the tarot for some advice. What could you do? So here is the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles is telling me that it might be a good thing to change how you think about this. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because he has a red cap on. And see how this red cap, this beautiful kind of, it's a cap and a scarf. It's kind of, the scarf is coming off the cap over his shoulder and onto the other side. And it's quite elegant. He's beautifully dressed. And the Page of Pentacles is one that, can indicate the beginning of, kind of long-term study or the love of something that you're going to do. And the reason I say, switching from worry to love is because he's loving this little pentacle that he's holding up quite lovingly. Let's see if I can put him here. There's some reverence happening. Jennifer, I need you. Okay, I got to keep it here. There it is. There we go. We're just in focus. So you see this pentacle, and he's looking at this, the page is looking at the pentacle, and he's loving it. And it's quite a serene atmosphere. So not only is there calm in this picture, there's love in this picture. So when we ask the question, what can you do? You can start coming into your vibration of calm and love. Now, how do you do that, Charlie? What do you do in your life to physically bring yourself into that calm space, that loving space, especially around this subject of, I wish this, situation would kind of resolve itself. And we're saying, oh, well, it doesn't look like it's going to resolve until the 4th month, right? Or 3 months away, and then you've got resolution. Can it come sooner? Can we please have some resolution sooner? What would bring resolution? It would bring your calm would bring resolution. Your connection and connecting to the vibration of love will bring it sooner. And so then we ask, is that true? Is that true? If Charlie connects to the vibration of love and calm, will it come sooner? And so we're going to tell a story with the next card, right? It has to. This is the card of travel. So will it come sooner? Yes. Yes. What's the potential? What's the potential? What are we reaching for now? We're not reaching for 3 to 4 months anymore. We're reaching for wands. Yes. You've had 3 pages. So I think you have a new beginning coming. I just have to tell you, because when there's a repetition of cards for all of our tarot readers, and I know you're all here, Irina took the course, Marisa took the course. When you have the influence of repetition of cards, it means that it's a really strong influence. So pages mean, and particularly because we know that Charlie said there are no children involved, and this would be a lot of children. In fact, I have 3. This would indicate my 3 children, but you said there are no children involved. So this indicates a new opportunity, a new beginning, because this youth, these sort of children / teenagers are kind of new at their craft. They're doing something for the very first time. They're kind of out into the world. And so there's an energy of a new beginning for you. And I really love that. And I love that we said, I hope this is clear. I've kind of taken you through the way that I've thought about it, right? If you come into that place of calm and love and that vibration of calm and love, then you really do change how long it takes for you to come into resolution. It's magic. And that's the magic of your manifestation, right? We walked it through together, but that's your potential manifestation. You've just pulled that out of the universe. Wow. And I wish that for you, right? And if everybody that's here wishes it for you, then that's like, love on a string. And you've got energy and love behind that. And then you also know you have the support behind you, right? You have people wishing you well, people praying for your highest good and for your well-being and for your goodness. That's what really good friends and family do for you. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Marisa says, I wish that for you. I wish that for you too. Wonderful. So thank you so much, Charlie. You were the first one. You won the free reading from Shelley Marlowe. Thank you so much, Shelley, for giving us that reading. And Linda paid for a reading for her mum. I think, Linda, you were next, right? You are on the list, and you came right there. So, Linda, can you tell me what's your question for your mum? Would you like a general reading, past, present, future? And, given that I'm now kind of really jumping on this concept of unlimited potential in this moment, right? Because we have this moment, you, I, and all of us here, we have this moment where we can change, what happens in the next moment. That's the excitement. Now, we can tap into what's going to happen because our brain knows how to do that. Our brain and our receptors and our internal sort of sensations knows how to sense it. But if we're not in touch with that, then we can use our thoughts to intend what's going to happen, right? We can only intend it, and then either the universe delivers or it doesn't, and then we just keep intending, right? We can only do our best to stay as close to this moment as possible. When we fall out into the past with all our mind and our worries, or we fall into the future with our mind and our worries, then we're out of this moment and we've kind of lost our power, right? So all the power that we have in being in charge of ourselves, that was great. The teacher, David Morehouse, who was running this show, was talking about being in charge of this moment. all your power is here in this moment in order to take charge of it by saying, this is how I want to feel, and this is how I am feeling, and this is how I'm going to feel, right? Or act or think, or this is what I intend for this moment. This is what I intend for the next moment. And then relax and have fun. So Linda, let me know. Linda Mitley, hi. I saw you put a number down there. So Linda Dross says nothing specific. She was next in line. We've got, my mum received a letter from unemployment saying they want some of their money back. We can fight it, but I don't want to create more of a problem for her. Okay. Excuse me. You think you can get it dismissed? Any thoughts? So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this. So right now, somehow, so Linda, I know that you study Abraham Hicks and the understanding of the law of attraction. So somewhere in your mother's psyche, she has manifested a negative state of attraction of money. So instead of money coming to her, money's being sort of requested to move away from her. So what is the best way for her to deal with this? Number one is to say, well, it's not going to go away because I know that, I can argue this away because it doesn't make any sense or whatever. You have your 3D logical reasoning as to how you can say, well, this shouldn't be happening. But we know, if we know energy attracts energy. So somewhere in your mother's psyche, she's thinking she's in lack consciousness, right? So, I mean, it's very easy to do, isn't it? When you think, well, I don't have enough money for that. Well, that's lack consciousness. But are we always going to be vigilant? Well, we're doing our best. And sometimes, we just fall into old habits. And so here we are. So first is the consciousness of your mother understanding she's brought this into her experience. Number two is, how is she going as you're going to, am I still in, I'm being told that my connection is unstable. So let me know if you can't hear me or see me, or if anything's wobbly. A few of us are using the internet. Here we go. So you have choice. You can take charge of this moment. Wonderful. You can take charge of this moment by being in control of how you feel, right? Okay, you feel annoyed and angry and frustrated. And then after that, what happens? Well, you can just get into action and say, okay, I'm going to see if I can get it dismissed. And I'm going to go do these steps and, and then take it from there, right? All the while, though, what you want to do is hold the consciousness of abundance consciousness, right? So even though money could potentially leave your hand, if it leaves your hand, you know that it's coming back to you, right? So even as you're giving money away, it's like, as I give this money away, I know I'm just giving money to myself because it's going to come back to me. Can you see how that thought loop just brings money right back to you? And there are people who train themselves to think this way, and then, are grasping that sort of the possibility of money arriving as opposed to it leaving. Okay, the reality is that money could potentially leave. But I'm going to grasp onto the possibility that money's going to arrive. Now, if all the while you're holding on to that possibility, won't the two cancel out? Won't that help you get it dismissed? Isn't that, in fact, the dismissal? You thinking that money is coming to you as you're giving money away is a dismissal, right? So you can win. Elizabeth Del Monte. Elizabeth, wonderful. Thanks, everybody, for joining in. The Wild Bird Fund is going to benefit a lot tonight. Superb. So the question is, any thoughts, right? They were my thoughts, but let's see what the tarot has to say. So is this not what we were just talking about? So, either my intuition was tapping into the duality, right? Because this figure stands in between sort of, disappointment and elation. So the cups that are spilt, it's like the milk that's spilt and we're just looking at it. And the cups behind are the ones that are still sort of available. And if we were to turn around and see them, i.e. turn and pivot our consciousness and reframe, do a positive reframe into this new scape. And you can see, right, it's not completely in the middle. I mean, this figure is a little bit over here. So we know that this, you know, the idea of money leaving is a lot stronger than the idea of money coming, right? So that whole, you know, all of that information that came through about, you know, every time I give money, I'm going to imagine it coming back to me. If I give $50, I imagine $50 coming back to me, or why not imagine 50,000? Why stop at just $50? So, you know, here you're using a kind of imaginary play because you can. Why not lighten up the mood, lighten up this mood? Because the more we stay in the emotion of it, you see the river is emotion, the rocks are kind of hard anger, and the spilt milk is just like the accident. Okay, oops, we milked some lack consciousness thinking and in comes the bill. Well, okay, let's just do something else. Let's change our thinking, right? Because anything is possible. Unlimited possibilities, right? And we're just using the tarot to read that in some ways and to help us pull into that positivity. That's what I want to do with tarot. I don't know if I've ever been more clear about it, but this is definitely what I'm using it for. It's self-reflection and helping ourselves manifest that which we want. And these being the tool into deep reflection of why it is that we're manifesting what we are and how then to look and forward. So that's what this is reading the situation kind of exactly. So if she was to move into abundance consciousness, right, what would happen? Look at that. Is this not the place we want to be? A sense of giving and receiving, right? And not only that, but it's a very abundant card. Let's see if I can get out of the way. Let's get it to focus on the card. There are two people and they're looking at each other. You know, can you imagine the agency saying, oh, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. Here you go, take some flowers. Or we'll just give you a little bit of extra something. Who knows? You just never know, do you? You don't know who you get to talk to on the phone when you sort of put in your application. You know, when there's a human involved as opposed to a computer or, you know, the automated messages, sometimes you get a better response. And if you've been sending out to the universe that kind of happy vibration and that sense of money's coming back to me, of course, I don't need to worry, then look at what happens when she changes and pivots, right? These are my thoughts. It's possible. Even when the reality says, oh, no. It is possible because you can fill yourself with that vibration and then the actions, you know, physical 3D reality moves in a way to make that possible. Linda, I don't see you. I hope I'm still online. I think I can get it dismissed. Any thoughts? That card is looking to me like you could get it dismissed, right? So it makes sense. Good. So if we were to say, are you going to get it dismissed or not? I get the Four of Swords. Now, what would this say to me? You know, there are two people in this mix. It's not just you. This is your mother's vibration that is sending out, you know, it's got her name on it. So when you start to look at how much can I do, how much can my mum do? Well, if we were to do, you know, if your mum was here, then I would be saying to her, hey, this is how you can change your vibration. Of course, you're going to tell her this, right? Or she's going to watch, right? She's going to see that it's possible for me to change my vibration. And in doing so, I get to receive. You know, so will it happen? And then we get a very quiet card. Why is it quiet? Maybe it'll take a little bit of time. What, you know, there's a government agency involved. There's red tape. There's COVID. There's, you know, not only they're not taking in-person interviews, but everything gets slowed down. Maybe they've cut people. Maybe there's not as many, offices open, etc. You have to make an appointment over over a computer, or so you can see that there's something else involved with it happening that gives it a very quiet answer when we say, will it happen? So this card doesn't necessarily say that it won't. I actually still feel that if you put in the intervention, that there's something going to happen. It might just take time, right? It might take time. And if it is taking time, because again, it's not just dependent on you now have a government agency or a group of people who are going to be responsible for giving you a response. So let's have a look. The Strength card comes up. Now, how do I read the Strength card? The Strength card is a card like it's one of the major arcana. We know that we need to dig in deep and have a look at the archetype of strength. Do I go in and kind of control my mind and my rage? I think you do. I think with this, everything, I'll help her with the consciousness aspect. Yeah. She's going to have to quieten the annoyance, right? See this red lion? That's the anger and annoyance of it all happening. And I think that that's probably what's going to really help her to switch and pivot. If she knows that she just has to, as she's speaking with these people who are just going to be a little bit robotic, right? And say, well, no, there's red tape, or, somebody else needs to do it and they're not around or something, or they got sick or whatever. So whatever this is, and often the Four of Swords is known as the meditation or / sickness card. So maybe there is something that happens that kind of quietens everything down for her, right? But she just needs to control her emotion, right? Control her emotion, control her thoughts. Right? Again, another card. This is the card we're going to study tonight. Why did we say control emotion? Control those negative emotions, because everything's coming up out of the water. Now, we know the dog is barking and the wolf. So this is the dog and this is the wolf, and they're both barking at the moon, right? Now, the moon, is it the moon's fault? The moon's just out and shining. The moon's just doing what it's doing. It is frowning, though. If you have a look at this moon, it's got a little frown on it. It could be that the moon is looking at the sun. The moon is a reflection of the sun. And because the moon is in the dark, when you're in the dark and you shine a light into your eyes, you become the moon, right? The light is coming from the flashlight or the source of light, and you are the moon. So sometimes the light's just too bright. So what she's going to do is she's going to shine a light on something. So maybe there was some hitch. And then all these emotions will come up. And for her, it's about controlling emotion. That's how she's going to best do it. Control emotion. And let me do one more thing, because when we're tapping into our intuition and I'm practicing having my eyes open and looking at the sort of information that comes through. I also like to sometimes close my eyes. Oh, look at that. We're getting all blurry. The cards are in focus. We just got the 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles is coming back. Oh, well, it's just going to be a bit blurry. Sorry about this. So I'm going to feel into this card, right? This is the 8 of Pentacles. And we're looking to see, is there anything else to say about this particular situation for Linda's mother, who is looking at an agency, government agency, asking her for money. So what I'm seeing in my eyes, that it might take a little bit of work for that to happen, which is where you say you think you can get it dismissed. It might just take a little bit of work. And I think that that's what this card was also indicating. And while it takes a little bit of work, you and your mum work on quietening down any of the sort of negative resistant emotions that would color it, right? Because what you want to keep doing is pumping out all the goodness around this situation and the positive outcome around this situation. Money comes back to me. Money comes back to me. And as I put money out, money comes back to me. And that is the magic in here that we saw, which is this bridge. The golden bridge that takes you into a whole new way of being is that abundance consciousness, right? The upright cups that are full. Right? We know that they're full. They haven't spilt over. We know they're full. So that's abundance consciousness for you and your mum. Okay, Linda, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for paying for a reading for your mum. I really appreciate your support. And I know you've supported the show so much and supported the charities a lot too. So thank you, thank you, thank you from them, from me to you. Who was next? It was Marisa. Marisa, you here? I got your question. You've got a question about your new relationship. Is this a great match for long-term love? Let's have a look. Oh, my goodness. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. It's such a good question. When we do relationship spreads, I know, Marisa knows, I'm sure you've put some cards together yourself. It is much harder to read for yourself when you're looking at relationship spreads because the emotions are high and they kind of knock you out of your intuition. And so it's easier for someone else to look into it for you. And I do that too. When I'm looking at relationships, I'm like, hey, friend, can you hit me up with the reading? If you got your cards on you. Or for those friends who don't have cards, it's like, what's your feeling? What's your take? All right, Marisa. Marisa. Relationship. So relationship and the person you're in a relationship with. So I see, look at this. This is you. This is you. So this is kind of like a whole new way of being. Not only are you connected into the light and into your understanding and your spirituality, and you've manifested this relationship. You really have. And I believe you've manifested through your sheer joy. You bring joy to the world, and that joy has finally manifested in another person as a mirror, right? And the relationship is going places because this is the card of travel. To me, this is the card of travel. The Three of Wands and those three ships in the sort of orange sea. This person is perched on a mountain. They're about to go somewhere. There are action. The wands are action. There are new buds growing on these wands. So you know that this relationship is going somewhere, right? It's going places. And here's another action card. This is the person you're in relationship with. You both have major arcana, which is interesting. You've both lived your lives. Before you met, you've both had a lot of life, right? Maybe you feel like you've had a couple of lives in one life or even 3 lives in one life, right? We can pack a lot in. If you're an old soul like Marisa is, Marisa reads the cards. You tap into her on Instagram. Marisa, can you put your Instagram page up so people can find you? And so this person that you're in a relationship with is ready to go, just kind of ready to move forward. So if you're seeing long term, this person is kind of in on that. This is the card that kind of says, yep, I'm ready to go. I've had all the experience I need to have. I have all of my spiritual understanding. I have my experience in relationships in the Lovers card, which came before the Chariot, right? And we know that the major arcana indicate the soul's journey on the path of life. So the Chariot comes right after that. Lovers is number 6. The Chariot is number 7. The Strength is number 8. So it's no wonder you're both, connecting right now. You're very, very close. The terrain is similar. You've got the big sun glowing in the background. I mean, this is a beautiful connection. If I was just looking at 2 cards to indicate, your principle, the other person's principle coming together, there's a lot of similarities. And I do see, they both feel very positive, really great vibration. And so I'm looking into the future. And why does another major arcana come up? Because this is a big relationship. This is a relationship that's going to have a big and deep and meaningful it's going to be big, deep, and meaningful, basically. The High Priestess comes to show us that it's been written in the book, in the Akashic record, so to speak, because she holds the secrets in the scrolls. And, these scrolls all through the ages were, the Vedas, all the sacred texts that have ever been written are symbolized by the Torah there that she has. You can see the words. You can kind of see it, Torah, right? And we learnt about the High Priestess, that she sits at the gate of Solomon's temple. And these are the temples. They're black and white. And they indicate, she understands the laws of the universe, the laws of duality. She also understands the creative principle, the law of attraction. She understands the power of all of the elements and the stars and the moon, because the magician comes before her, and he's the principle of all of that. And so the magician and the High Priestess work together to manifest into the world the Empress, who births everything into the 3-dimension. But these are great cards for your relationship, meaning, you ask the question, is this going to be a long-term relationship? Yes, this is a great match for a long-term love. Absolutely. And I wish you the best. I send you many blessings, and I hope everybody here does too. Isn't this wonderful? I want to make sure I get everybody. So Diana said she was paying for a payment. I'm so sorry, Diana. I missed you a little earlier. So Charlie got the free reading. That was for Shelley, right? And then Linda had a question for her mom. I'm sorry I have to write this down. It's probably a little boring for you to hear me go on about this. And then Marisa just got a reading, and I'm just checking in. Marisa, I wish you the best. Elizabeth Del Monte, I think, was either next, or maybe Diana was next. Let me double check. Elizabeth Del Monte. And thank you. Oh, Marisa, I'm so happy. And Marisa's Instagram is Marisita716, Marissita 716. So you can find her there. And, hit her up for a reading. She's got a very beautiful, very high energy, brings in the gods and the goddesses and the masters. And I don't know if you're still reading those decks, but they're amazing. And I love your readings, Marisa. Come on over. I've got to come on over. So Elizabeth Del Monte, and then I'm just going to go back up. And I know Diana, here she is. She sent payment. So I think Diana's next. And then Elizabeth. Okay, I hope that's okay with everyone. Elizabeth Del Monte, who is there. Good. I'm really grateful to be able to scroll up and down with the comments, because in Facebook, I used to lose that, and then Facebook refreshes every now and then, and you lose your comments. So I know now who's in order. So Diana is next. And I lost where Diana was. Here we go. We're going up. There it is. Send payment through Venmo. Where do I spend my energy? I'm looking forward a job or my business. I kind of want to clarify your question, Diana. So I hope you're listening. You're up next, Diana. Oh, good. Yes, you're next. Good. We're in line. I want to clarify your question before I go. So, Diana, before I pick a card, right? So for me, it's really clear to have, in some ways, this is the target. This is what I'm aiming for. I'm putting my sort of all of my inner senses, and I'm honing in on this question. The question is the target. And that's why I want to make it exact. And I want to make sure I have it. I've grasped it, right? So because you've used a word that is where, okay? And that's what's tripping me up. Where do I spend my energy on looking forward to a job or my business? So could I compare? This is one way we could answer this question, right? We could pull down the possibilities of, is it better for you to spend your energy looking for a job, or is it better for you to spend your energy focusing on creating your own business? Have I got it? Did we encapsulate it? Is that it? Let me know, Diana. I'm going to shuffle the cards a little bit. So we're basically going to have the cards let us know at the moment, is your potential, right? Is your sort of system lining up to grasp that potential for creating your own business, or to grasp that potential for finding a job? Am I right? I want you to tell me, because I don't want to move forward until I've really got that that kind of validation from you. So there might be a bit of a lag. The microphone's a little bit far away. I don't know this. I think the sound's okay. And I'm probably yelling to everybody in the household, although they've been very polite. So Diana, are you there? Let me know. Let me know if what I suggested as a spread sounds good. We are coming up to 1 hour. Wonderful. What do we have to give away today? You know, Irina, you and I didn't catch up to get the reading done. So Irina has a 30-minute reading, which I want you to please contact me. Or you could save it up. Or you could give it to a friend. This is something that I've let people know. All right, Diana. So I'm going to move forward with, because I don't, oh, correct. Yay. Okay. So I got the okay from Diana there. I now have my focus. I know what I'm looking for, right? And so now I'm going to tap into my inner senses. What I'm looking for is Diana manifesting like a job, or is she manifesting starting her own business, and which is better, right? We're going to compare job, business. Okay, I'm going to pull 2 cards because I really feel like we've got two kings, and I feel like we have a bit of a conversation happening. So I have your potential for either is very strong, and it really now depends on you and what you want, because if you want your own business, then the energy is there for it. You kind of have to fight a little harder for it. So this is the energy for the job, which is the King of Pentacles. And clearly what we see with the King of Pentacles is that with the job comes money, and, maybe an assurance of money or reassurance of being paid like a regular job when you're working for someone else, right? So we see that. Now, I know you've been in a job, or you've had a job, because, I know a little bit about you. So this is it. When you know a little bit about people, that kind of colors things. But let me just have a look at, do you still have the job that you're in? And are you asking about that job, or are you asking about another job? Am I looking for a new job? Now, I'm going to say, is it my job or a new job? Right? Is it staying in your current workplace, or is it a new job? Because at the moment, what I've got you is your current workplace they're not paying great, right? This is the card for, there's someone begging for money, basically. You can read it pretty straight, and it's a very easy card to read. There's someone who's, a merchant who's weighing up the money and just giving little, tiny little bits to people who are kind of begging for it. So this is your current workplace, if it is that you're working, and this is the new job. Now, why am I seeing death? And we've talked about this before, right? Why am I seeing death? This new job, in order for this new job to come, there would have to be a complete turnover for you, right? Because death is a transition, a transformation. Is it related to the work that you do? Is the new job that you want to reach for? Because we were told, hey, possibility for a job, yes. Possibility for you to your own business, yes. Right? We've got yes from the universe, yes. As potentials, both are very possible. One looks a little easier than the other, right? Where you're actually getting money from someone else. In the current job, you've obviously got some money, but not enough. In the new job, I've got to transform. You've got the message that comes here that's like, there has to be major transformation happening. You don't have a job presently. Okay. So major transformation has to happen. Maybe it is happening in the not having one, right? So in this card, what I would then sort of go in and say, okay, we're looking at this new job. It's clearly going to be a massive transformation. Will it be completely different work? Do you want to go down that way, Diana? So if you were here in front of me, I would say, do you want to dig into the possibilities that are associated with getting a new job, or do you want to dig into the possibilities around your business? So this could easily be a half an hour reading. We could just look at this, put it down on the plate and say, hey, the new job would look like this, this, or this. That's what you want to manifest. And we're like, okay, how's that looking at manifesting? How soon will it come? And starting my own business, do you see what the difference in energy between these two? So the King of Wands is a guy who is a great strategist. So in terms of starting your own business, you would want to be thinking about business strategy first and foremost, and kind of have that down pat. And it's almost like this passion that you have, you would want to be passionate about what it is that you want to do in your business. You want to love what you do, and you want other people who come into contact with you to love and feel that love that you do, so that they're animated and uplifted by whatever it is that you do, so that they can engage with you in it, right? You want that excitement, right? That exciting factor. And that's what this card is telling me. If you were to do your own business, this is the energy you would need to encapsulate, or you're already encapsulating that. You just switch into it. You dial into that vibration in order to have your job. Now, if you're wanting to ask, okay, we got the Death card, right? Let's put another one on the Death card. We got the Tower card. Wow, big changes need to happen. Okay, so in order for the job where you're saying, could I get another job? This to me feels like diversification. These three cards to me feel like, well, maybe I'm not going to be doing the work that I used to do anymore, because what I used to do, just because of COVID or because of the pandemic and because of all of the sort of things that have lined up, the domino effect of that, it doesn't sort of happen anymore. People, businesses are doing things very differently. So I would have to think about what I'm doing, very differently. So could you reinvent yourself? Is there something that you could do in your current sort of experience and skill set? Would you need to kind of shake that up a bit to be attractive to a new employer? So here comes the Priestess, super quiet, the High Priestess. Sometimes she needs a good meditation to tap into what message it is that she's pulling through. And it might just be that this whole message is look into doing your own business, right? Because we haven't really talked about this, but this is an action card. And if you put enough passion into it, you're going to make it happen. So Diana, I'm going to leave this here because, again, we're doing this as a one question reading, and we could go into depth, and I could really look at, having a job with another employer, because we've got the High Priestess here. I would meditate on her. I would tap into what message she's wanting to bring through. I would, close my eyes and have a look at what she's bringing through. But the information that's coming through about you starting your own business is very positive. You see this wheel of change. To me, this is energy and movement behind the idea and the possibility and the potential for you working for yourself, right? Look at these cards. These are action cards. They're movement cards. If you know what you want to do, I think you should go ahead and do it. I mean, not only think, but the cards are indicating that there's excitement around here. Whereas around this job, the cards are a lot different. Right? I mean, they're still big. And if you still wanted to work for someone else, it would be a matter of figuring out how you would, what part of your skill set you would start to show to people so that you would be employable to them, to someone else. But for you to create your own business, the cards are really positive. And so if you wanted to, right? I don't know if you've ever tried to do your own business, and I think maybe you have, but it would be a bit like the message that came through for Linda's mum earlier. Don't look at what you've done before. It's damaging. Okay. It prevents you. When you look at the past and you look at disappointments in the past, you bring the potential of disappointment in the future into the present moment. And because it's in the present moment, it has to manifest, right? That's the law of the universe. So you don't want to bring it back. You're going to go the business route, right? And when you're going down the business route, you don't want to think about any past failures, because businessmen who are successful have all failed, but they don't think about their failure. They think about success, and that's how they succeed. This reminds me of that story of the guy who created the Dyson vacuum cleaner. And I mean, he's like a genius. He created a bagless vacuum, which up until the point that he created it, nobody had ever done that before. But he had, to invent it, he had many, many models, and he had failed many, many times. Like, it was at any point in those failures, he could have just said, oh, forget about it. And there's probably hundreds and thousands of people out there who are inventing and creating, who are letting the idea of failure overcome them and not holding on to and grasping the idea of success. And that's what you're being told to do. You're being told, if you wanted to create your own business, you have to be passionate. You have to grasp onto the idea of success, and then think of strategy and how to be successful, and use your passion to make it happen, because it is possible. Okay, you've got the Wheel of Fortune, which is the energy of change and the energy of, look at this. This is the karmic wheel, right? If you sow the seeds, and you're planting plants and they have to grow. And if you're watering them, they have to grow, and they're going to grow. They're not going to turn into a different plant. If you planted a seed for this, it's going to grow into that particular plant that you grew for. If you put a carrot seed down, you're not going to grow a zucchini. You're going to grow a carrot seed. So this is why it's important for you to lay down the proper groundwork, or the proper seeds in your ideas of this business. Wow. I'm excited for you, Diana. Congratulations. Let's give power and meaning to Diana's route of going her own business route. I wish you well. And it's, best of luck. Well, I know that you've worked up until this point to make that happen, right? You've created the potential of it in your mind. And once you start following, there's that potential, and the success potential, and the abundance potential, then that can only be the reality that you create. Has to be. We're told it is. And there are people whose stories reflect that it is, right? Elizabeth, I hope you're here. We're going to talk about the moon card soon. The moon card is waiting. I love the High Priestess too, Marisa. She's so beautiful, so quiet, and yet so serene. She's meant to represent the Divine Mother, but also she's she's like the modern witch, or she's not just. She's encompassing all that is good and bad. She's encompassing all sort of potential that exists. And that's what I love about her, because she understands the duality in this dimension. But she also understands the fifth dimension, i.e. how we rise above that to create what it is that we want, because she has the scroll. She has that knowledge. And we need to tap into her to get that information. Elizabeth's question is, I have a question about my son. When will he go back to school or get a job? So, Elizabeth, I'm going to pull a card for your son. So I get the Empress. So for me, the Empress represents mother. Here, I'm tapping into a tree in the background. Sometimes he feels very small. I'm tapping into what expectations have you had of him that are sitting in his consciousness, right? So if he were here asking this question, I'd better tap into his potential, because right now I'm tapping into the potential that you're outlining for him a little bit, right? A little bit, because what we have here is the card, the Empress. The Empress is the mother. She's the one who gives birth. In the tarot, she's often displayed as pregnant, or, with child. She's moving through a field of wheat, which symbolizes fertility. There's the sign of Venus. There's Venus symbols all along this beautiful blanket or pillow. She's very plush. She's very abundant. So is your son's connection to you placing him in a place of abundance? Does he feel abundant right now? That's the next question that I have, right, for you. When will he go back to school or get a job? So Mother is asking the question, when will he go back to school or get a job? It's a when question, right? What is he asking? What does he want, right? Does he want the same things you want? I mean, these are good questions. They're valid questions. And in a longer reading, we can have a look at all that. Or you would already say to me, hey, I don't want to waste money on that. I already know what he wants. I just want to know when he's going to go get a job or go back to school, right? So let's do that. Let's pick two cards. One for going back to school, a when. We're doing timing, right? We're looking at the potential for timing, when to go back to school, when to get a job. So when to go back to school is a cup, which indicates weeks to months. Weeks to months. So we're doing, say, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. 10 weeks. I would say the most positive card that came up was 10 weeks. With the King of Cups, that was going back to school, was it? Now I've confused myself. I've forgotten what I said. Back to school. And King of Cups was getting a job. King of Cups, right? So when you get a King of Cups, it's still cups. It's months away. But let's have a look. Let's do so. At the moment, his current vibration is pulling on the potential, right, of it being 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 2 months, 2.5 months for when he gets the job, right? Now we're looking at back to school. I've confused myself. He doesn't know. So your son is in a state of surrender, right? He's like, I'll do either. I'm happy to get a job and I'm happy to go back to school, right? That's what we're assuming. But do we really know what is there? Does he have any? Let's have a look. We can ask tarot. We can tap into his vibration through you, right? So how soon could he get back to school? 2.5 months. Would that be right? I'm not even sure. By 2.5 months, we're sort of looking at summer, some kind of summer. Because when I'm in a state of surrender myself, I actually really don't remember what I said. So the King of Cups we're doing as the job. What was the job here? Now I'd have to rewind it. Yes. So does anyone remember the Knight of Cups? Was this for his job? Was this for him getting a job in 2.5 months? I'm going to pull new cards. How's that? I loved those cards, but I just lost my train of thought. And, I don't want to keep grasping for something that's already passed. So I'm pulling new cards. And because we're tapping into his vibration, the cards should tell the same story. And that's usually my experience, right? When I, for example, wanted to get a different outcome and I keep pulling, different cards or asking my question a different way so that I can get what I want, it never turns out that way. It just, the reading just ends up being more and more confusing. And that's when I go to my friends for a reading. He doesn't know he's depressed. Okay. I could feel that there was something else, but let's have a look at this, right? So mum knows her son, right? So why is he depressed? So let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at job, him getting a job and him going back to school. All right. Him getting a job. And him going back to school. Okay. So the energy around the cards of getting a job are there when he gets some help. Okay. So I won't have a look at what you're saying, because what's happening is that I'm getting interference. So I'm going to stick with what I've got going here, and then we can have a chat about that. So I get the Emperor. This is somebody who's going to help him get a job. Now, this could either be his father or another father figure or another male in his life who will, I do feel that the job will come from someone he knows. Right, from inside family. This is like the traditional family card. So when I look at now remember earlier, I think that's what we got, this kind of 2.5 month range for getting a job. And that could be because summer has arrived and maybe there's, new openings for something in the summer. Let's have a look. Maybe by that time he feels better. We get the opportunity card. Aces are always a yes. They're always a positive. They're always an upliftment. They're always a new opportunity, right? So that's around the job. Now, getting back to school, we've got, does he really want to go back to school? Well, I'm not really getting a kind of full yes. And maybe that's why I got so confused when I started asking the question, because I get the 10 of Swords. And, this particular card is a celebration card. So it is a positive card. If he wanted to go back to school, he could do it. But do we know that he really wants to do it? Maybe he says that it would be okay, but, clearly there's a, the 10 is there's an obstacle of thought, because the swords represent ideas and thoughts. So it's the only card that says to me, and it kind of explains why there would be a cup being offered and he's got his arms and legs crossed and he's saying, no, thanks, right, at the moment. So let's have a look at him. Look at that. Beautiful. Ace of Wands. I do feel that he has a very creative nature, that he loves to tinker, and that this is something that he may or may not have always had an opportunity to do, that there's a secret other thing that he loves to do that hasn't been that hasn't been connected to any of the jobs that he's done, and may even not be related to what he has gone to study in the past. This idea of him kind of coming up with this whole new way of, this whole new way of expressing himself in the world. And that's what he ends up wanting to do, because when we do things that interest us and things that we love to do, we somehow find a way. The universe ends up delivering, the opportunities into our lap, and the doors open up because we're in our element. We're in our joy. We're not sort of focused on what it is that someone else wants us to do. We're, right? What does mum want us to do? What does the society expect us to do, right? I'm getting the feeling, especially from this card, because it's an ace card, and this is the one that I chose for him, that it's going to come from within him. And I get in about 2 to 3 months, it's the energy around him is going to change. This kind of depressive energy is going to drop. And especially if he's encouraged and if he's allowed to do, maybe supported to do that which he really loves to do, the opportunities come through. Look at this. This is especially, very, very fast movement where, suddenly it's a bit like it's like the snowball effect. That's what this is, the snowball effect. When you've kind of put one foot in front of the other, you've told the universe this is what you're interested in, suddenly new doors start opening up, or maybe a friend says, hey, I heard so-and-so's doing this. Maybe they could do with some help. You could help them. And then suddenly there's a job there. And then, so you see how one thing follows through the other. And that's what I'm getting for him in a couple of months. And that fits with the job aspect as opposed to going through with the school aspect. I hope that answers your question. I think I feel like we ended up with a train of kind of energy coming through about him finding that thing that he loves to do, and it being that he goes into that work, and that he may not even need to go through school. Although clearly there's an opportunity that comes through for schooling, right? And it has to be something he's interested in, because at the moment, whatever's coming through for schooling, he's not interested in. Okay, I do wish you the best. You want him to be happy. Of course you do. All mums do. That's our job. That's our primary job. We just want them to be happy, right? And so let's have a look, because we got the 2-3 month mark, right? I'd love you to come back and let us know. I see success around him. So, Mum, all you need to do, ignore his depression. Of course, keep an eye on him and make sure that he gets everything he needs, as you do, because you're a good mum. But just know that he's going to succeed. Okay, I just wanted to pick a card that would give us like an overall outcome, which in the traditional tarot would be the Celtic cross, that you pull 10 cards and the final card is the outcome. And this is what we've done. And I do see him being successful. So kind of let him be where he is now, and let him not have to do either school or a job right now, because whatever he's doing, this tinkering that he's doing, this kind of like very slow manifesting that he's doing, is going to get him there, soon, even sooner rather than later. Right? Yeah. Keep your eyes on the goal. Even if he's undecided, you keep your eye on the goal. Don't go with his indecision. Yeah. So our job as mums is to maintain our own source connection, and to be that model of connection with our own light. And if we stay here, then we allow them to do what they do, and then eventually it changes energy. I wish that for you, and I wish that for him. And what a great potential we've pulled out, right? We've pulled this from all the unlimited choices. We've pulled the one of success for him. That was the final outcome, right? Is that not fantastic? Is that not a wonderful energy to be holding over him and around him and with him? So we're going to pull out. Thank you, everybody, who's bought a reading. My name is Georgia Morantos. Follow me on social media. I've slacked off on my emails. It's easier for me to post and just be available here on the show. So I'm just going to be doing that mostly this year, you'll see. And I'm now looking for the moon card, because I want to talk about all the symbols in the moon. So there's the star. I found the star, so we can talk about the star again. And the moon. And why do the star and the moon exist? Why do they exist? Why are emotions important? So the moon is number 18, and 1 + 8 = 9. And really the moon is the last card. The number 9 indicates an ending of cycles. So in numerology, you start with the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's no 0 in numerology. And number 9 is the end of the cycle. So that, and so by this stage that we've gotten to the moon, we've been through 2 cycles. And, in the last cycle, the number 9 was the Hermit. So the Hermit and the moon are connected. So why are they connected? Because the Hermit has gone in, and in the moon, we've gone very deep in. Now the Hermit has gone in and has pierced through all of the layers, right? He's gone through spiritually to the who am I and right to the top. But in the moon, we're looking at what's happening on the emotional layer, in the emotional body, right? And because remember, before this came the star, where we're balancing our emotions, and we're really finding that place of healing and inner vulnerability. And okay, there's a rawness here, a kind of a new beginning again. And we've gotten ourselves to the healing spot by the water. And then we've just noticed these 2 pillars with the single eye, walking this path between these 2 pillars. We move through duality. And we want to get to nirvana. We want to reach the promise of these little yods is that they're God particles, and that as we walk through the pillars, that we're just bathed in this shower of God particleness, and that our vibration lifts because we've come up out of the water. Remember, we had the tower and the devil and death, and we went through all this massive transformation, and we were knocked. Our ego was knocked off in the tower card, and then we went straight into no ego, right? The star is no ego, and in that space of no ego, real healing can come in, where we are absolutely in communion with source, and we are healed of everything. And here what you have is this bubbling up. And the last few, this lobster represents, because the lobsters, remember, live at the bottom of the sea. They kind of crawl along the bottom. So right at the bottom of the sea, where we're diving, are you diving deep to find what's the cause of this? What's the root cause of all of this stuff that created all of this death, destruction, transformation? Or am I reaching for the goal, which is success? Am I going to dive deep in to understand what's been going on for me? Or am I going to dive deep into find the pearl of, who am I? So that I can connect myself to the hermit, so that I can be, so that I can enlighten my own path, right? Because here you're in the darkness. You're in the moonlight. You're not in complete darkness, but you're in that reflection of the sun. You're not in the direct sunlight. You can see that this is almost like a eclipse. You've got the moon in all of its phases, right? The sort of, and you have the shining of the moon. So we know that the moon is so there are lots of things going on. You've got the cycles of the moon. You've got the influence and the magnetism with the tides and the waves. And we need to understand how, there are cycles in life that we come around. So this is the second time that we've come to a 9, where we've come to an ending. For all of those of us who are learning the tarot, this card, when it comes up, means we just need to dig a little bit deeper and give breath to our deeper, darker emotions. And are we brave enough? Are we brave enough to feel the fear and do it anyway? Just go into those emotions and allow these emotions to be here, rather than fighting them, right? Rather than saying, well, I don't want to feel anger and I don't want to feel frustration. Can we just allow these emotions to be here and visit with them? Maybe they have a message to say. Maybe this lobster's come out from the bottom of the ocean to give us a message. What are they saying? They're speaking to the moon. And the God particles are the promise that if you do this, then you can get up and walk this path confidently. And off you go into, and then the card following this is the sun, right? So you come up to the dawn of a new day and the sun is shining brightly. So you may not know that when you're walking through this path. This feels like a very dark path. And there's darkness, and it's scary because there are wolves howling, and we may not even know what these animals are. It's kind of like animal nature, this dark part of humanity that's very scary. If anyone's still here, thank you so much for being here. I want to please like the video. Please leave some comments. People have been doing that, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who has purchased a reading. 30% will go to the Wild Bird Fund in Manhattan. Irina, you have a reading from last week, and right now we are going to raffle a 30-minute reading for someone else. Pick a number between 1 and 5, everybody. Actually, 1 and 10. 1 and 10. Scrap that. Scrap that. It's 1 and 10. Oh, okay. Thank you, Charlie. All right, I've got my number. Have you? So anyone who wants a free reading, put your number in there. Keep coming, everybody. What else can I say about this? The moon card. Let me see if I have some books here. I packed away all my tarot books, and so of course they're all hiding. The thing about tarot is that you're working with symbolism, and our subconscious is the language of our subconscious is symbolism. The language of the collective subconscious and unconscious is symbolism. Heidi, to the universe, you win. You get the number 2. So Heidi, welcome to the show, and please let me know what your name is. I'm assuming it's Heidi. Happy full moon tonight in Virgo, and it was the moon. Oh, Irina, I have been so disconnected from the moon in this country because I barely see it. In Brooklyn, you probably see more of the sky than I do. It's a full moon tonight, friends, and we've been studying the moon card. So that's serendipity and the influence of the moon on us, helping us understand that we are connected, right? We are reflections of one another. And whenever we have anything that happens in our life, we need to see and take responsibility for how we've created it. Because remember, it's whatever's happening is a reflection of us. We are the sun. So, Heidi to the universe, let me know who you are. You'll have to contact me or give me your email so that we can communicate, because I don't think I know you on Facebook. Or just email me at georgiamarantos@gmail. Got it? georgiamarantos@gmail. And I'll wait to hear from you, and then we'll set up a time. Awesome. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this live. Thank you to everybody who donated. The Wild Bird Fund is very grateful, I'm sure, once they get their donation, as is the Irish Wheelchair Association, which is coming. And thank you all for being here. Bye. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.